Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Check out my comics at KINGCOMICS.CA. Check out my YouTube videos. King Comics 2021 is my channel. Instagram, MaximusRex13. And check me out on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby. Today is Tuesday, it is Sam Keith Day, so we're looking at the next issue of his Batman Lobo Deadly Serious miniseries. From this one, number 2, is from November 2007. Let's get right into it. I really like this cover here. Very stark. It's got the focus exactly where it needs to be on our two figures here. It's got classic kind of weird Sam Keith anatomy. Batman's pretty good overall, but he's really giving him these odd, like, super big arms up here and super small forearms, which just looks, again, very Sam Keith and very odd. He's, you know, getting in his Bigfoot fetish there with Lobo and giving him those huge boots there, kind of, you know, more metal, kind of organized version of the Max boots from the Max series. But we get all the Sam Keith isms, I think, with the textures and stuff. Multimedia stuff here too, so some of it's inked, some of it's painted in typical Sam Keith fashion, and that's about it about the cover. So let's have a look inside, see what's going on. I do want to warn you, I thought issue 1 was really good and the setup was really good. Issue 2 is a little bit more of the same and really kind of just ends real quick. It's still, like I said last time, I think just an excuse for Sam Keith to draw some chicks with guns. It's kind of part where she's missing a bit of her arms, kind of gross and gory. She's been shot in the arm and stuff. Story and art by Sam Keith, colors by Alex Sinclair, and letters by Phil Balsman. That's an unfortunate name. Excuse me. I want to mention Alex Sinclair because a few reviews ago, I think this was Wildcard Sunday, I think I was talking about Frank Miller and his latest Batman pinup. Alex Sinclair colored that one. I see the similarities between the coloring he's doing here and what he does for that and his style and stuff, and I do think it works pretty well on Frank Miller as well. One of the rare colorists, I think, that does. So yeah, again, just an excuse to draw chicks from compromising angles and stuff. I don't know. It does feel a little bit cheesecake at this point. And I like the shots where we're getting a bit more of a Bisley kind of influence, which I talked about last issue. We're getting that here, I feel like. He's definitely looking at the old Bisley comics for the look of Lobo, but making it his own. Some odd stuff, you know, Lobo's really weak, small, kind of pinky sticking out here. This is great drawing, but I just find that such an odd detail. And if you're going to stick the pinky out, I would think that Lobo's pinky is a little bigger than that something happened to it. And yeah, he's kind of sticking to this Batman with the huge bicep and tricep and the very small forearm. And this is more Sam Keith stuff where, you know, he roughs it up and kind of just finishes it off quickly and kind of angular. Throw his in kind of these directional lines here, but that actually does help to make it look more dynamic and there be more movement in what's going on. Also, I do think, maybe because it's Sam Keith, if it's an odd choice to have the characters going from right to left. Typically in a story you would go from left to right, but, you know, that's kind of a rule, but you can break it for sure. There are good reasons to sometimes too. It's just, I don't know about that in that case there. But yeah, so we get more of the story of this alien entity who's inhibiting females and ladies and making them go crazy. So it's the same, more of the same, like I said, most of this issue that we saw last issue. And really also just an opportunity for Sam Keith to, I don't know if there's a deadline issue here or something, but he's really cutting down on the backgrounds. You know, there were some backgrounds in issue 1, and I appreciated them. Some establishing shots and stuff, some mood kind of environments, mood creating environments and stuff. None of that here. Leaving a lot of the work to the colorist and, you know, trying to find, in most situations, the quickest way out without having to do too many backgrounds. Like in this case here where it's just a horizon line, right? So all of this is the color work, right? Even down here, we're getting into the security containment van or bus here. That's pretty much all you have in there. I mean, every time he's drawn Batman, it's interesting. The anatomy is always a little wonky, right? It's an oddly shaped Batman. Old wrestler body Batman. It's kind of what the vibe I get here. Yeah, I feel like Batman and Lobo in this comic are kind of like two grizzled wrestlers. Another example of Sam Keith just wanting to draw the ladies. So this lady character is introduced and she's trying to help Batman basically capture this entity. And of course, what we all knew was going to happen happens. The entity eventually ends up inhibiting the Lobo. So obviously we're in trouble there. That's a very The Max inspired pose and body language there. Wow. Like you could almost think that is The Max, right? out of costume or something. Very close. He even covered up the face there. Maybe it's on purpose. I'm not quite sure. So yeah, deadline issues. Here's a quick way to, you know, get through 2 pages here. I guess he's telling a story, but, you know, I'm not that interested in reading a 2-page spread that looks like this, to be honest. Not my thing. I feel like almost as if, you know, he may have only drawn these 2. The rest seems like maybe Alex Sinclair did that. Anyways, yeah, they're not having as much fun with this issue as I did with issue number 1. I thought issue number 1 was better. The setting was better. The backgrounds were better. You know, not that this is in any way a bad shot. It's great, but like, did it warrant a double-page spread with all this black ink in the back? Like, that just, again, it feels like a deadline thing. I feel like this would have been, you know, more than enough as just one splash page and some, you know, dark kind of hills in the back and a bit of black on one page. But anyways, that's my opinion. Even on a full page splash, I'll cut in with 2 black lines on the side. Not that that's bad per se, but again, I do think when it comes to this issue, it's mostly down to deadline issues. The backgrounds almost entirely disappear. You know, the police cars that we kind of see here, hope that even picks up on camera, but they're very much just suggestions. And I get the whole light effect, and that's well done. The blurriness of, you know, the police lights and stuff. But yeah, that just means the artist doesn't have to do backgrounds. I like this shot here. Kind of reminds me of It, or some sort of like sadistic clown. I've never really seen Lobo as a clown, but the way Sam Keith draws him, I kind of do sometimes. And even the effect that he's been taking over this green thing is really just down to the colorist. You know, Sam Keith has nothing to do with that. So yeah, of course, and this entity is in Lobo, so it just goes on, you know, a rampage. And then once again, we get Batman intervening as if, again, we got to suspend disbelief that, well, obviously Batman's not real either, so we're always suspending disbelief. That's fine. But just, you know, if you're following and you're, you know, specific about continuity and stuff, this idea that Batman could punch Lobo and fight Lobo or something is just kind of funny, you know. Could he find a clever way of disarming him or neutralizing him? Possibly, but just like a one-on-one fight, physical fight? No, I just don't see it. This may be the most backgrounds we get in this whole issue. I don't think I'm wrong. Cool shot of Batman. See, this is the kind of, when Sam Keith does this kind of look here with the heavy shadow and just the full black kind of cowl, I think is when it works best with his Batman design. He does the long ears. I accept it because it's Sam Keith. I think he does it well. It's just sometimes the faces just are altered from panel to panel and page to page, right? Sometimes I wonder, like, this doesn't... Sometimes I think maybe this isn't even Sam Keith, or like it's an assistant or something. Just kind of drawn a little bit in his style, or he's kind of got a few of his ticks in there. But yeah, so obviously the goal now becomes to get this entity out of Lobo, right? So this girl who's here to help jumps in the Batmobile with Batman. See, this to me is a good use, I would say, overall of a double page splash. So you've got kind of the 2 characters kind of meeting, introduced to a certain extent. You got the shot of the cool car here, which, you know, interesting, again, spacey kind of Sam Keith Batmobile. And then you've got a bit of storytelling with an extra panel down here, you know, get in kind of deal. So I think this is a successful page, except for one detail. Okay, it's not the ears. He really goes crazy here and nuts here, which I just think is hilarious, and that's probably why he does it. This Batman here, like that face, and all of a sudden he throws in the pupil. Like, that's, I don't know what that is. That's like, that whole expression is, you know, when daddy's proud of you for doing something, like, I don't know. It's just something so odd in the expression, and the fact that we see his pupil all of a sudden. This, I think, is a cool shot, kind of round fisheye view, well done. You know, lens distortion, if you want to call it that. And yeah, just lots of pages of some pretty easy, quick shots of Lobo to get through. And again, this is where I feel he's probably losing a bit of steam there with the whole story, and he's just wanting to get it done. So the backgrounds just become more and more minimal. Only backgrounds when you really need to establish a spot. So they're at some, you know, exotic dancer's place out in the middle of the desert somewhere where there's no backgrounds. I do want to say I thought these 3 shots on this page were interesting. Like, these 2 pages are good. and I like them, and they have some interesting elements. The extreme perspective on the 18-wheeler here, kind of plowing through to the girls exotic dancers place. I think this shot's really cool. This angle here where we kind of flip, so we're down here looking forward from a down angle. Now we're up here looking down at the same kind of scene. The flip there is really cool in perspective. Really cool and really well done. Really well pulled off. And even just the angle here of Lobo barreling down on this kid on a bike. I wonder too if this isn't some sort of inspiration from if you've ever seen the Toxic Avenger movie. You know, the gang of thugs, they go around kind of running people over with their car, and they run over a kid with his bike. I don't know if Sam Keith saw that movie, but I feel like maybe the inspiration's coming from there. But in this case, of course, it's a DC comic, so the kid's not going to get hit or run over like in the Toxic Avenger, and we got Batman to the rescue here, who jumps out of the Batmobile, becomes an actual bat, or at least the shape of one, and catches this kid here, saves him. Lobo plows in the wall, so he's kind of knocked out a little bit here. See, again, this gives more credence, I think, to the Deadline issue I'm talking about, where, you know, this is kind of a down looking up angle at Batman, and I think that part there works, right? And I think that part there could work on its own, but together, I don't know if the two moved over or just the foreshortening is just bad on that shot. Just not very well done. And again, just more and more, you know, black, no backgrounds. And yeah, I think Sam Keith is pretty much through with this one. Even on the last shot there, he doesn't give us much as far as backgrounds. It just feels like, you know, he's kind of done with it. And the character who's absorbed the alien entity and gets shot instantly, you know, kind of a non-character basically at the end, because, you know, I'll read some of the dialogue here, but I'm sorry, Batman, we didn't see it was her. It may be her body there, but it's the alien entity you killed. It's what she wanted, because she wanted to get rid of the alien entity. She was willing to sacrifice a lot, right? I get it. Not much left here. Her badge, some ID, all worthless. Turns out she wasn't with the government after all. Okay, every contact I have can't figure out who she was with. She BS'd her way past everyone, and now it's like she never existed in the first place. That's very convenient, right? Exactly. So who was she, Batman? Any idea? A friend. Yeah, just don't like this ending. I gotta be honest, this comic here, as opposed to issue 1, which I think had a lot of promise, issue 2 just, it kind of goes downhill from there. And the concept loses steam, and I feel like the artist does as well. So that's basically what I'd say about this one. As much as I love the first one, not so great on the second. What are you gonna do? So there you have it. That's my review of Batman Lobo Deadly Serious number 2. If you have thoughts, questions, concerns, arguments, debating to do, let me know in the comments below. I invite all of that. If you are a subscriber and you're still watching, thank you so much for still being there. I really appreciate you watching the videos. If you're watching the videos but you're not subscribed, please do so. It really helps out the channel. It takes only about a second for you to hit the button below. Helps us grow, helps get us out there to other people who are into the same kind of stuff that we are, namely comic books. So to everyone viewing, thank you so much and have an awesome day.
Like, subscribe, like, subscribe.
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.